This is the Sports Hit List. By the fans, for the fans.
We are live right now on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is Carl Coulange for the Sports Hit List. By the fans and for the fans. NBA playoff basketball begins today officially. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on this Saturday morning. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe out there. It is a wonderful time to be a basketball fan. There's no better feeling than to be in the NBA playoffs. Around this time of year is Kenny Smith says it best: in the regular season, you make your name, but in the playoffs, you make your fame. Last night, we had the conclusion of the play-in tournament. The Golden State Warriors, they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out to Greg Polius, who's a contributor to the hit list. His team, they won in overtime, 117 to 112. Ja Morant finished with 35 points, 6 and 6. So not what people expected. Everyone expected that the Golden State Warriors were going to try to come with a miraculous run, and people had already predicted. I was on the Smoke and Mirrors podcast yesterday, and we predicted that the Warriors would be a shoo-in to go play Utah and upset Utah in the first round. And now this just changes dynamics about people's predictions for the NBA playoffs. And now you have Utah versus the Grizzlies. So kudos to the Memphis Grizzlies, very young and gritty team, and pulling out that win last night. It was a great game. And it makes you wonder, moving forward, should the play-in be something that we continue watching? A lot of fans have debated this back and forth about, clearly this year's play-in, we saw some top-level talent, superstar talent in the Lakers. We saw the Golden State Warriors. So we saw some excellent matchups there. But moving forward, can we potentially see that happening with bad teams having the play-in tournament? It was a great excitement for those two games. The Eastern Conference wasn't as great as the Western Conference, but it was something to look forward to, leading us up, kind of like the pre-main event to the playoffs. And also the fact that a lot of times the regular season, the first round of the playoffs is people don't necessarily want to tune into it because the 1-8, 2-7s aren't really that great. But overall, I thought from the Western Conference perspective, the play-in tournament was great. It was a great success. And as I said before, shout out to, I see Greg in the comments, shout out to his team, the Grizzlies, for advancing. We're going to dive into it once I bring in my contributors about what chances do we give them against Utah in the first round. But I just want you guys to leave you guys again. Do you want to see the play-in tournament moving forward? Is this something you want to see continuously every single year? Or now that we're kind of getting back to normal, no more COVID, is it something that you want to see we just go back to the regular format? So I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys for the chats, let me know if you like it, if you don't like it. Me personally, it put me on nerves, pins and needles, because my team was in the play-in tournament. So I don't necessarily know if I want to see it again moving forward. But again, for the Western Conference, who knows? I'm not sure we're going to get top level talent to go down to an 8th seed, 9th or 10th seed to be combating for a playoff berth. So the NBA playoffs start today. I'm excited. I know my team is not in the ideal situation as a 7th seed as we take on it's a David versus Goliath matchup, but I still ride with my team. I'm going to give you guys my predictions. Clearly, you may know me and you know where I'm leaning towards. But before we bring in our contributor, I just want to give you guys a recap of who is in the playoffs. And in the Eastern Conference, you have the 1-8 matchup. You have the Philly versus the Washington Wizards. The New York Knicks are in the playoffs, and they face against the Atlanta Hawks. The New Jersey Nets will take on the Boston Celtics, and the Bucks will take on the Heat in that 3-6. Out west, you have the Utah Jazz at the 1 seed versus the Grizzlies. The Clippers versus the Mavs in the 4-5 matchup. The 2-7, you got the Suns and the Lakers. And then you have the Nuggets and the Blazers at the 3-6. So I'm going to bring in some of my contributors now so we can discuss, basically discuss what's going on with the NBA playoffs as they come in. Some surprise contributors. We have Eddie, who is known for his baseball comments. He's going to be pinch hitting today in the basketball. And we have Mr. Andre Cerivas, Mr. Numbers. How you guys doing, sir?
I'm doing great. What's going on, bro?
I'm doing fantastic, bro.
Thank you guys for filling in. Definitely appreciate you guys being available. You know how the Hit List Streets works. The numbers get called randomly, and you guys are available. I definitely appreciate it. So on the level of excitement, how excited are you guys for the playoffs to begin? Andres, let me start with you.
Honestly, I'm very excited, very happy. It's a beautiful day outside. The weather's been bipolar these last 2 weeks, but it's finally starting to get beautiful outside. So that's how we know that the playoffs is around the corner. We get another opportunity to play in the playoffs. My team, I get to see my favorite players go at it, hopefully try to win a championship too. So, can't really complain. Hopefully they're healthy. Hopefully we get to witness a healthy playoffs because a lot of injuries are really stockpiling up. So hopefully everyone can be able to stay healthy.
Yeah, man, I see you in the comments. I didn't want to see you I did not want you on the live. I want to blatantly say it. That's why I didn't invite you. If I wanted you here, I would have invited you. So clearly I didn't want you on the live. If I wanted you here, I would have invited you. Eddie, what are your thoughts? What's your level of excitement for the playoffs?
I'm very excited, especially after the 2 playing games. Yesterday was a great game. That was a great game. And the fact of the matter is, at the end of the game, the surprise people who stepped up, like Tillman and Desmond Bain, they stepped in, and that was exciting. Oh, I'm sorry. Good?
No, not you. No, you're good. I'm looking at Coach. Coach, can you turn your phone for me, possibly?
What's up,
Oh,
Coach?
that's good.
Nah, you got to do your screen lock for it to come back on, to do it the other way for me.
Oh, got you.
We got Coach in here. Coach, what's going on, man? Are you on your way to a game or something like that? Are you trying to sell us something or no?
Nah, I'm actually I'm on my way to volunteer to help kids in the neighborhood in the Bronx, man. That's what I'm headed right now.
I hear, man. God bless to that. So what's your level of excitement for the playoffs? I don't even need to ask you that because I already know what your level of excitement is.
All right, it's crazy, man. I mean, the whole city is bumping. Everywhere I go, Knicks fans, and I live in Brooklyn, so I see a lot of Nets fans. Everybody's excited. The games last night, the playing games proved to be exciting as well. This is like a playoffs where I think a lot of teams feel like they got a chance to really move far. So, I mean, that makes for exciting basketball.
All right, so guys, what I'm going to do is this. Normally, the first round is not as entertaining, and people kind of gloss over the first round in some of the matchups. So I'm going to do what we call a player. I know. Just hear me out here, Andres. Hear me out first, okay?
All the series this year are pretty fire. I'm not going to lie to you.
Coach, what do you think with that? Are you for the first round? Are you excited for the first round matchups?
Oh yeah, man. Listen, I don't think, besides maybe some people saying Memphis don't got a shot, but we seen what Memphis did. I think it's a pick 'em in a lot of these series, except for the Nets. I think the Nets. I'm taking the Nets over Boston. Excuse me. I'm sorry to say that to you, Carl, but I just think the Nets are. I'm
used to it. It's okay. Yeah, I'm used to it.
I think the Nets got a pure advantage. Thank you. This is good. But besides that, Knicks, Hawks, dogfight. Miami, dogfight. You get what I'm saying? These are all dogfights. These are pick'ems. So I'm excited about that.
For sure. We have one more person joining the panel in a couple minutes right now. I believe Mr. Ray Jarvis, who is here, the reigning defending MVP. Mr. Ray Jarvis, how you doing, sir? What's your level of excitement going into this postseason?
Super excited, Super excited. This is what I've been waiting for all year.
All right, so let's dive into it. Let's look at the Eastern Conference. We have the Wizards versus Philly. What do you see out of this series, Eddie? How many games? Who wins it here? What are your thoughts?
Philly. I got Philly in 5. I say that you have too much firepower with Beal and Westbrook for them not to try and take one game, but I think it's going to be a pretty easy series for Philly.
Okay, Andres, what do you have here?
I'm gonna give the Wizards one game. Because Russ has never been swept in his playoff career, which is a crazy thing to say given his reputation. But and on paper, the Sixers should sweep the Wizards given the team that they have. They got Ben, Danny Green. I know a lot of people like to cut ass on Danny Green for clicks, but we got to shout out Danny Green, Tobias, Embiid, who is a top 10 player in the NBA today and probably one of the best centers, if not the best center, along with Jokic. So. But you're a Celtics fan, so Glenn Rivers' history as far as playoffs go. But the Sixers should win this and should win this comfortably.
Ray, what are your thoughts here with the 1-8 matchup, Philly Wizards?
I mean, I'm kind of in line with Andres because of the fact that maybe Westbrook doesn't get swept, but nevertheless, it's almost a bye for the Sixers. There's going to be a contingent of fans who are going to say Brody did this or whatever the case may be. All he did was extend the inevitable. The more talented team is in Philadelphia. The Wizards, let's be clear. There's some talent on the Wizards, but the Wizards are not a good team, okay?
Absolutely.
We needed 8 teams for the first round. The Wizards are the 8th team for the first round. It is what it is. Salute to them for making it. And they'll get a game 3 more than likely. But matter of fact, I'll have some balls. It'll be a sweep.
Cool. Coach, the 1-8 matchup in the East, who you got?
Philly, man.
How many games?
I say Philly in 5. I got Philly in 5. I'm gonna give the Wizards one of those. They may shock them the first game off of pure excitement and adrenaline, or like Ray said, they may get that third game. Either one of those games, I'll give them. Rather than that, I'm taking Philly 5.
What about you, Carl?
I have Philly in 5. Philly and a gentleman sweep in that matchup.
Carl, you're a part of the panel, so you better participate too, bro.
Okay, fair.
Chill,
fair.
He's trying to get my man on record. Yo. He's trying to get you
I
so
know what he's trying to do.
Back at you.
So game 1 will be tomorrow, I believe, on TNT for Philly versus Washington. The 4-5 matchup. So the winner of that series will go on to play the 4-5. We have Jamaal's New York Knicks. I got him a new nickname. He's the president of the Knicks Nation in the hitless streets. So, Coach, let me start with you. Who you have in this 4-5?
I got the Knicks in 6 games. Game 1 is very, very interesting. I feel like, in the playoffs, defense kind of takes up a little bit more. So that's why I'm confident in the Knicks winning. But when you got a player like Trey on the other side, anything is possible. Collins is a good player. They got shooters surrounded by those guys. If Julius Randle, Andre Barrett, those guys get in foul trouble, you're in real deep SHIT. So it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to be one of those old 90s series. You're going to see a lot of hard fouls, a lot of hard plays, but Knicks and Sixers.
All right, Eddie, let me go over to you. What do you think here? What are your thoughts with this Knicks and Hawks matchup?
I got the Knicks in 6 as well. I think this is going to be the second best series in the East. To the next game, which was Miami and the Bucks, but I got the Knicks in 6. They're a tough team. They're playing very, very well. They have, I think, the coach of the year, which is Thibodeau. I think that Julius Randle's going to show up. I think that Derrick Rose is going to have a very good series this series.
All right, Jarv, what are your thoughts here with the Knicks and the Hawks? How many games?
No, this is a pick'em series. We gonna put the troll hats down. People want to be informed. They don't want to be entertained right now. This is gonna be a tough matchup. The last game that the Hawks and Knicks played, that was a really good game until I believe Trae Young went down. If I'm not mistaken, Capella went down in that game as well. And the Hawks are controlling that game. This is the playoff. This is a relatively new experience for both teams. This is what makes this series intriguing to me. There is no DeRozan's there, he's a vet. But the key components of that series on both sides are people with no playoff experience. So I'm curious to see how is that going to play out. Well, now we're going to see how the coaching comes into it because Thibodeau's a great coach, but in the postseason sometimes he leaves you scratching your head. Nate McMillan, great coach, sometimes he leaves you scratching your head. This is the ultimate pick'em series in the first round. All joking aside, the Knicks have a big fan base. And for the sake of the league and entertainment, you couldn't ask for a better kind of matchup. With that being said, I look at the Knicks and I look at bucket getters. I look at the Hawks, I look at bucket getters. If this is a pick'em series, who do you trust to get buckets late in games? Julius Randle's had a hell of a season, but will his whirl of dervish, all of that stuff that he does in the regular season translate to the postseason? Can the Hawks defend that? I look on the opposite side. Trae Young is stretching the floor. Gallinari can rain threes. I think they have Bogdanovich is over there, or I can't remember his name right now. I'm not pronouncing it. There's so many Bogs, but he's over there. He gets buckets. They can spread the floor. You have a rim runner over there in Capella who can get easy buckets for you. They have options to score. I think this goes 7 games. I think we have one of the ugliest game 7s ever, and I think the team that's more likely to score easier, for lack of a better word, because Thibodeau is a great defensive coach. I think the Hawks can steal game 7. With respect, look how much respect I'm giving the Knicks. Still game 7. I'm not
That's
saying
no respect, y'all.
No.
No respect, y'all.
No, I'm not disrespecting them because I could say 6 games and this is a bad matchup for the Knicks. I don't believe that. I think the Knicks are good. I think the Hawks are good. But I feel like if it becomes attrition and it's about bucket getters, the Hawks have both bucket getters. You know that, Coach.
Yeah, but we know the playoffs also is on defenses, and we got one of the top 3 defenses in the league. And also, I never saw another team that swept the team in the playoffs where a lot of people would say it's a pick'em series, but that's just
they
the Knicks.
They weren't going to sweep them that last game, bro. You know that. You watched the game just like I did.
Yeah, they had
They weren't going to win that game. It was going to be 2-1.
But the other games, we beat them a game with 8 players too. We missed some players the first time we beat them as well.
Absolutely, but the Hawks were not the same team that they were when you played them those first 2 times. We know that.
All right,
you're right. I'll give you those points. I think you're right. I can see 6 or 7, but like you said, you take offense and you take the bucket getters. I'm gonna ride with the the defensive team. So I can see that. I can't be mad at that.
So let's go to Andres. Andres, what are your thoughts here with the 4-5?
Damn, you're putting me in a spot. It's confusing and it's at the same time it's tricky because when the playoffs start, it's a whole different game. That's why Philly hasn't been able to succeed because Ben Simmons in a half-court offense isn't as effective. So in the playoffs, this is a time where the lights get bright. And honestly, I would make my predictions probably after game 3 because we don't know how the Knicks are going to guard Trae Young. Are they going to double him when he gets the ball inbound? Are they going to double him at half court? Are they going to triple team him? So all these things amount into play. We know Tibbs is a very good defensive coach, and a lot of people are saying that he's had questionable decisions in the postseason in the past, but the defense is still there, and the cliche quote is defense wins championships, but the Knicks are going to be suffocating. They're going to make the Hawks work, and we all know that the Hawks have snipers. They got Trae Young, they got Bogdanovich, they got Kevin Huerter, they got John Collins, they got Gallo, and then they got Clint Capella in the paint, who's improved drastically this year, his defense and his offense. So it all comes down to who wants it more, because Nate McMillan, he hasn't won a playoff series in like 16 years, since like 2005, if I'm not mistaken. And Nate McMillan is not known for making adjustments. So maybe Tibbs can outcoach him as far as adjustments go. So I just want to see 7 games. Game 7 at the Garden, it would be fire. So I'm going to go Knicks in 7.
All right, I'm taking the Knicks in 6. I think they advanced to the second round. I've been high on Julius Randle even coming out of the draft, and he's proven right with his talent. So I think he leads them to beat the Hawks.
It's just the one thing in question for the Knicks is who's going to get the ball when the lights get bright. The Hawks have Trae Young, but who's going to get the ball when the lights get bright on the Knicks? That's what it's a lot of questions to be answered.
All right, the 2-7. Clearly, people already know. We've discussed this one. I know what people are saying. I can go around and get everyone's predictions on what they believe. Coach already said his predictions. He said the Nets in how many games? Nets in 4, right?
No. Nets in. I want to say 6, but I really think it may be 5. So I'm taking the Nets in 5. But I think it can't. If it went 6, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm taking 5 games. Nets in 5.
Okay. Just to let people know, the Knicks game is Sunday, I believe, at 7:00. So you can check that out on TNT. Celtics Nets tonight at 8:00. Walmart has
a lot of tickets. Yeah. A lot of tickets available for you Nets.
I got one. I got a ticket.
It's a lot of tickets.
So Eddie, you going to the game?
I got a ticket. I'm going.
Yeah.
All right.
Pay for your joint half off, right? Half off.
I'll take it.
Eddie,
get some fans.
Eddie, who you got here? Clearly, I'm pretty sure I know where you're going.
No, I got Brooklyn. Trust me, I'm not going to disrespect by saying I can't say it's sweet because I'm a jinx, So I'm gonna give them a 5, and I hope that game that they lose is not tonight. But that Brooklyn's gonna win that series. It's gonna be a little bit of a tough series because I can see Tatum going off one game. I can see him going off like 40 points or more. But I don't think I think Brooklyn's going to win that series pretty easily.
All right, Mr. Numbers, who you got here in this series and how many games?
I got Brooklyn in 5, and to add to what Eddie was saying, the only thing is who's going to guard Jason Tatum. I don't think the Nets have someone that could stay in front of him besides James Harden. Honestly, I think James Harden is the only player that could stay in front of Tatum. So when the Celtics force Jason Tatum to be double teamed, the objective of the Nets is to get Jason Tatum the ball out of his hands. They're going to force others to make plays. Peyton Pritchard, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart. We know Marcus Smart has a trigger finger. Carl, I know you're a Celtics fan, but you know damn well Marcus Smart, that man gets way too complacent with that trigger finger that he has from three-point land. Are we going to see Tristan Thompson be aggressive? Are we going to see Evan Fournier show up with his 20 points a game? It's a lot of questions to be answered. And Brett Stevens, I know you're not very fond of him right now, but he's still an elite coach, still a top 5 coach. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Steve Nash has the talent around him, and maybe the Nets sweep them, but I think that the Nets will win in 5. So I got Nets in 5, sir.
Jarv, what are your thoughts here?
It's going to be a sweep. No disrespect to the Celtics, but we saw what we saw this season. Is healthy big three out in Brooklyn. Fans or no fans, however y'all want to spin it. The Knicks fans reaching for any threat that they have because they understand the
We're
reality.
not reaching. We just speaking the truth. I'm just speaking the truth. A guy came on and said, I'm going to pay for half of your tickets. That's it, because they couldn't fill the arena. Where all the fans at?
Hang the banner for it, coach.
We ain't hanging no banner.
I didn't say that you lied, brother. Facts. I said that you're reaching for threads.
It's not a reach if it's the truth.
Threads.
It's not a reach if it's the truth. It's not a reach if it's the truth.
A reach.
It's not a reach.
Can I talk, Anthony?
My fault. It's a reverb. No, it's a reverb. I got a reverb, so I'm hearing you late. My fault.
Oh, okay. Knicks fans are reaching because they understand that Barclays is going to be packed in July for the finals, so they can have their moment. This is the finals for the Knicks. This is what they want. You want slander here. This first.
Look, they cut, yeah.
First round is the finals for the Knicks. The Nets have bigger plans, okay? So them and their fans or lack thereof will be packing up the Barclays Center after they sweep Boston. Again, the NBA is a talent league. If Jaylen Brown plays this series, I'm a little more respectful. I'll say 5 games, maybe even 6. But you don't have Jaylen Brown. You have an inconsistent Evan Fournier. You have bigs on Boston who are kind of shaky. And you have Kyrie Irving on the other side who wants blood. And every time I think Kyrie saw Boston, it got kind of ugly, okay? And now you're asking Boston, with respect, to Brad Stevens, even though I feel like it might be time for him and Danny Ainge to go, to defend James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, and get buckets on the other side. The energy that they have to put out defensively is maybe if there's a game to get, it's game 1. But as this series goes along and you have to run up and down and defend, this a level of offensive talent. Not to say that they're as good as what Golden State was, but we saw this before. You're asking teams to do too much to win 4 games, let alone 1 game. Boston, I don't see it. Maybe 1. I think some of you guys said 1 game. I'm going to say sweep. I just think Brooklyn is the clear-cut better team with the better boutique quality talent. And they don't even need their coach to do too much. They just need, if Steve Nash doesn't mess it up like he's done a couple of times during the regular season, Boston shouldn't win a game. It is what it is.
Well, I'm going to ride with my ship. I die with my ship. Celtics in 6. I'm praying to my gods.
Nah, you on drugs, bro.
I'm praying to my gods. Listen, the Celtics have been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the last 4 years. I understand we're missing Jaylen Brown, but like I said, I ride with my ship. I die with my ship. I'm going with my team. So
why don't I be what?
Crack is whack.
You be an analyst, Carl. Don't ride with your shit. Tell the truth for a change.
Listen.
Don't ride with this shit.
Why not? Why not ride with the shit? You've known I am. No,
comment section?
No, I'm not afraid of the comment section because clearly you're the same person who told me to stay with my brand and stay on brand with my team, and I'm doing that. And now you're telling me don't do that. I don't understand. Don't tell me one thing and then tell me that.
This ain't about brand.
No, it's brand. But you always tell me that. You always tell me to stick with my team. You always tell me that. No, time out, Ray. You always tell me that. Don't try to change the narrative now. You always tell me to stick with your team, and now I'm sticking with my
brands. Or you came here to are we labeling brands or are we prognosticating?
You always tell me to stick with my team. I'm sticking with my team, and now you're telling me no.
Answer my question, Carl.
No, you tell me. No, you tell me to stick. I'm going with my team. I'm going with my team.
So you're not prognosticating.
Go ahead.
Paul, if you had to put your marriage on this series, your marriage is over, but you got to pick the winner. Who you going with, Boston?
Come on, don't do. That's not fair.
That's
not fair.
If you had to put your marriage on it, who you put?
That's not fair.
All right, cool.
Do I get to use my line now? Do I get to use? I don't do it. If I do it,
use your line.
I can use that line right now. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Call.
But to answer Ray Jarvis's question, honestly, the Brooklyn Nets clearly they have the better team. They stack against we can't contend against their big 3. Again, I'm hoping for a miracle here. Jason Tatum legit has to score 50 every game, average 50 to even keep us in this series. And as I said before, because the Nets have only played 7 games together, you're looking at crucial points. And I am going to use that Steve Nash hasn't coached in the playoffs. Brad Stevens been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the last 4 years. You can call me crazy. Those are the facts. So
Steve Nash is there to give out water and provide vibes. That's it.
So again,
provide vibes.
and then the last matchup in the Eastern Conference we have, I think is going to be the one to look out for in the Eastern Conference. We have the 3-6 Bucks and Heat they kick off the playoffs.
Yes,
Andre,
sir.
since you're the fellow Heat fan in here, I'm going to start with you. Who do you have in how many games?
Listen, man, playoff Jimmy, he's a real thing. This is his favorite time of the year. You know, this is gonna be really corny, but this is his favorite time of the year. This is when the lights get bright. This is where we find out what coach makes adjustment, what coach doesn't. If you've been living under a rock, we all know that Coach Bud doesn't make adjustments. We all know that Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the game right now. No disrespect to any other coach in the association, but it's Spo and then everyone else below him. The way we game plan for Giannis is perfect. So I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about Drew. I'm worried about Chris. Well, we all know that Chris folds come to playoff time. Worried about Drew. Worried about Chris. Worried about the role players around him. Dante DiVincenzo, Brook Lopez if he gets hot from 3. But I'm going to go with my guys. And you know what? We're going to go into Milwaukee, and we're going to take it in 6.
Okay, so he's going Milwaukee in 6. Coach,
whoa, Miami in 6.
Miami in 6. Coach, who you got here? How many games?
I'm going Milwaukee in 6. I like the Heat, but I feel like this is the last stance for the Bucks, and I don't see them losing in the first round in their last stance. I think Miami, they can go with, they still got players injured. I know Jimmy's Jimmy. Jimmy's different. But I just think it's too much on that other side. I think this is a series where you have to travel. This is different than the bubble. This is different where a lot of guys are just, no crowd, no fans, no refs being, the refs are always going to be different when they're in home arenas and stuff like that. So with that being said, I'm taking the Bucks in 6. Close games throughout the series. But I'm just last stance for the Bucks. I don't see them losing in the first round this year.
Eddie?
I got the Bucks in 5. I think that this is going to be a monster series for Giannis. Okay, I think that you guys think too much of the past and not understand that. I think this year is going to be the year that he actually proves himself to be a beast. I know that it doesn't.
He's still a beast, man.
He's a beast. I know, but in the playoffs, I'm talking about in the playoffs, right? Now, it doesn't help him with the comments he said the other day. Not really being confident in his team to win or whatnot. But I think this is going to be a tough series, a very, very tough series. I think a lot of the games are going to be decided by 3 or 4 points. But I got Milwaukee in 5.
Ray, can you hear me, sir? Did we lose him? Ray, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It was like breaking up for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Who you have in this series? How many games?
I got the Heat in 6. I don't think too much of the past with Giannis. When you look at athletes, we have to go based on what we see. Like, the problem I always come here and I talk about with you sports fans is you always look for angles to give people reasons or qualifiers to say things are okay. If he's an athlete and he is performing at the highest level and he hasn't performed at the highest level, who are we to not hold him accountable to that? Y'all got to stop massaging these athletes. Y'all got to stop giving them this second place trophy energy. It's ridiculous. See, I'm about to curse
it's okay. It's okay if you do it. It's all good, man.
It's because as you can see, Carl, I'm really passionate about that because we've gotten to a space as sports fans and people in the media where we don't want to hold people accountable. We want to give them every reason to say it's going to be okay. No, Giannis hasn't gotten it done. Giannis has looked below. You know what? If Giannis is a brand name, he's looked like the store brand in the playoffs at certain points. And we have to continue to hold him accountable to that until he shows us the brand name at the highest level. You're a 2-time league MVP back to back. Why shouldn't we talk about the past? Why should we focus only on the regular season? Eddie, what do you get off to say that he's going to show up this year? What evidence do you have to support that? None. So to say that we focus on the past too much is ridiculous. He has to show me against Miami. You put it this way. To slay a dragon, to slay a demon, a lot of times you got to go through specifically that thing that made you look a certain kind of way, right? Miami made them look a certain kind of way last season in the bubble. So once again, the Most High puts them, the very first stop on your path to the finals is the demon you got to slay. The Miami Heat with a hell of a coach, a gritty group of guys who know how to play ball, and a star player who is the antithesis of what Giannis represents in the playoffs. With all of that being said, because I don't believe in Giannis, I don't believe in Drew Holiday. I don't believe in Chris Middleton. I don't believe in Coach Bud because they have never given me a reason to. I have to go with Miami. I have to. They have to prove me wrong. I have Miami in 6 games because of the fact that I know what they're going to bring. I know what kind of basketball I'm going to get. And I know that their star players are going to show up late in games to get buckets and get stops on the defensive end. So I have to go with Miami. Prove me wrong, Giannis.
All right. Well, there you go. Have it. That game will lead off the playoffs today at 2:00.
Chat to me. Come on now. You're not getting away from this one.
Okay. I got the Heat in 6. Heat in 6. I said the Heat in 6. That's why I'm going. I agree. Everything Ray Jarvis said is accurate. We go based off of history and Giannis.
I say this too.
So I'm going with the Heat. Yeah, I agree.
I agree. That was poor choice of words by me. You're right.
But what I say too is you can't prove someone until you do it. So Ray has a point. He wants to be proven wrong. Is this the time he's proven wrong? Maybe, maybe not. But he has a point.
You know what, Eddie? Don't back down. Don't apologize. Stand your ground, man. Stand your ground. No, we don't do that. No, we don't do that. Stand your ground, bro. Come on, man. Come on. Stand your ground. Stand your ground.
Listen,
man.
I'll stand my ground on something I feel, that I'm right about. This he got me. I got you.
That's not what I'm looking for.
I know. Let's go to the Western Conference. No. The next one is coming. I got you.
Let's go to the Western Conference. Western Conference Sunday at 9:30. We got the Jazz versus the Grizzlies. Ray, let me start with you. Could the Grizzlies continue their momentum and pull off the upset here, or no? Or they just one and dones?
This is not the series I wanted.
I don't think any of us did.
No,
You
none of us
know,
wanted. No, we didn't.
My phone blew up last night, and it's like I gotta really speak on the fact that you lot are so pathetic. You know what it is? Put it this way: Steph Curry didn't make the playoffs. Let's get the obvious out of the equation. And it's people who are gonna, toot their horn and celebrate. They've already done it. They in the comments. They asking me to talk about Steph and whatever the case may be. But you cannot build yourself on talking about putting things in a proper perspective and then have a certain kind of energy that you have for Steph Curry, because you throw perspective completely out the window. Like, it's like, who I'm talking to. There's never been a time that you've been able to have a rational conversation about Steph. You know what I'm saying? You go to the troll route, you go to the annoying route. You older than me, bro. Like if you want to be on some proper perspective, let's have that talk. But to be a clown in the comments and tagging folks,
He wants in. Listen. He wants in, but I don't
want to talk to him. There's
no,
nothing to talk about.
I know. As much as I want to, I actually want to sit down and have a basketball conversation, not have him yelling.
This is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
You're not capable of having that type of conversation about Steph. You just want to troll and yell and talk over people. Clown energy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Reynald last night for giving credit where it's due. Like, I could see if Steph didn't show up. If people want to keep holding on to 2016 and say like he played a bad game in elimination games, all right, I got a whole lot. Steph showed up against Lakers. Steph showed up against the Grizzlies last night. Averaged 35 a game over 2 games in the play-in. He lost to 2 better teams. The Grizzlies are a better team in totality than Golden State. The Lakers are the favorites. So for you to now decide to post memes and get on weirdo energy about Steph just shows that you lack the proper perspective. So what is it to talk about? Post your memes, be happy. To the topic at hand. I had to get that off, Carl.
It's all good. Listen, but you know what? To back you up on that, I actually found a hit list archive I'm going to probably post later on in the week. Where we were talking about CP3, and he literally said, Anthony said, CP3 did his job. What else did you want him to do? I don't understand why can't the same mentality be applied to Steph Curry?
Because
that's all I was saying.
He can't be rational. The reason he can't be rational is because of that unanimous MVP. Again, if he wants to have a rational conversation as opposed to being a clown, we can. But if you want, tell me that you're mad about the unanimous MVP. Tell me that you feel like they placed him on a certain pedestal. And I can say that his performance represented the pedestal. Championships, gravity, all of these things. Again, they were 37 and 26 when he played. He did his job 2 consecutive games against better teams, and they lost. He can't make Andrew Wiggins make that shot. He drew 2 defenders in the last possession of the 4th quarter.
Or every single time.
Draymond Green took one of the worst layups I've ever seen in a clutch spot. What more do you want from this man?
Absolutely.
To the Memphis Grizzlies series, this is an interesting matchup because I look at Utah and I'm not buying it. Memphis Grizzlies, they're down in the early stages of Grindhouse 2.0. They have gritty players, young and old alike, who fight. They scrap, they get buckets, they defend. But the way Utah moves the basketball, if Utah gets into their rhythm, we got to see what Donovan looks like. What does this rhythm look like? If Donovan hits the ground running, this is a 5-game series because of the fact that they apply. When they get rolling, they kind of Golden State as far as offensively. Once they get rolling, Utah avalanches you, right? But if the offense is a little disjointed and you let Memphis stick around, they could take 2 games. I'm going to say Utah wins this series, but it's either going to be a smokeout or it's going to be a dogfight. But I'll say, you know what, for entertainment, I'll say Utah is 6.
Okay, Andres, who you got here? And I know you're high on Utah. You've been high on Utah all year.
I don't know about high, but I need to add to what Ray was saying. The problem with NBA discourse today is that it's dead. You know, if you want to clown and you want to cut ass on Steph for clicks, do it, but you don't have to bring up all these point guards that are below him. If you know me, you know I'm a big CP3 and Dame guy. I know that CP3 and Dame are never going to be better than Steph Curry. So there's no need to say, oh, CP3 last year with OKC made them a 5th seed. Oh, Dame did this, Dame did that. Like, why do we have to bash Steph and bring up other athletes, bro? Like, Steph won 3 championships against LeBron, bro, and y'all bring him up every single day, every single hour, grown-ass man. Like, y'all get paid by clutch, man. Like, please grow up. We're all old. We all know what it is. Steph missed the playoffs. Let's move on. Anywho, I just had to get that off my chest because Steph Curry is a top 10 player of all time, the 2nd greatest player of his generation, and y'all spend 24/7 hating on him instead of appreciating the greatest shooter of all time. None of us, some of us didn't get to watch Magic Johnson, so why don't we appreciate the 2nd best point guard of all time? Anywho, I do have the Utah in 5 just because the way Jamaal Morant was getting his buckets yesterday and the other day against the Spurs, it was all floaters. He doesn't trust his jump shot. I don't know if you saw Carl last night. He had a wide open 3 in the fourth quarter with like 4 minutes, and the shot's been falling for him all night. But the one that he had to take, he didn't take. If Rudy Gobert provides that paint protection that I know he's capable of, then this is not going to be close unless the role players around him show up. Grayson Allen had 2 streaky threes. I don't know how the hell they went in, but they went in. Who else is there? Dylan Brooks is a very gritty player. He's someone that he's very annoying to play against, but someone that you would like on your team. He's another player. Dylan Brooks is another player that has a trigger finger. He gets way too happy. He takes one shot and he thinks he's the greatest player on the court. But I got Utah in 5.
Let me ask you this though, on the matchup side. You mentioned Rudy Gobert.
Yes, sir.
Aren't you concerned a little bit about him getting on an island with Ja, them targeting him and picking rolls to get that switch?
Not at all.
No, you're not worried about that.
Not at all. They're gonna win. They're gonna win the series without Mitchell if he even plays.
But that switch could cause havoc. We've seen how Rudy gets caught out there.
Right, but Ja doesn't trust his shot as much. He's a floater guy.
He could get downhill on them, no?
We'll see. We'll see if he's on his Grizzly. We'll see.
Eddie, who do you have?
I'm going to ride the wave of Memphis. I like what I saw. I like what I've seen the last couple of days. I'll be honest with you. I was watching Memphis when they played Golden State in the last game of the year. And I think that Memphis might have actually beat them that game too. I think Dylan Brooks fouled out really, really early, and he was getting really, really high.
You can't prove hypotheticals.
Oh, okay, no, I'm just listen. I'm speaking my opinion. I'm saying I think that they played them very well. That's my overall opinion. They played very well versus Golden State. Curry, you can't stop him. You just got to try and stop him from getting 50, which is what they did. If he got 50, they would have lost. But there's no ifs in sports or whatnot. I think that yesterday proved with a couple of people stepping up, like a Tillman hitting a 3-pointer. It's the people who step up in the clutch moments. That was a clutch moment for him, and he hit the shot. I think that Jonas is going to play a big role in the series versus Utah. I think he's not going to get in that much foul trouble with Rudy Gobert. I think that I pick Memphis in 7.
All right, I'm gonna go Utah in 6. I think the X factors, who I believe will win the 6th man, and Jordan Clarkson, Joey Ingles. I think they have a deeper roster than the Grizzlies, and they have a little bit more experience. I like to go
and a better coach.
So experience prevails. Memphis, what they did last night was remarkable, but I think the buck stops here. So Utah in 6. Moving along, we have the Clippers and the Mavs in the 4-5 matchup. That's Saturday at 4:30. Eddie, let me start with you. Who do you have in this series?
I got the Clippers in 5. I think the Clippers are gonna. I think the Clippers are gonna play well. I think that they had a little more time this year to gel. I think that they're gonna be a tough out this year for some teams. I'm not very confident in Dallas. They look shaky most of the year. I tried to give them excuses in the beginning of the year when they had the COVID protocol and they had the tough schedule and stuff like that. But I don't think Dallas ever really, really, really clicked. I think that it's going to be, I got Clippers in 5.
All right. Andres?
A lot of people love to say that if Porzingis played last year, they would have won. But a lot of people forget that the Clippers actually won game 5 by like 50 points. So there's like literally nothing to be talked about here. The reason why the series went 6 last year is because Paul George, he was suffering from depression. This year, he's a man. I'm going to be unbiased as possible, Carl. This year, he's a man on a mission. He's been demonstrating it all year. This is a whole different team than what we saw last year. We don't have Trez. Ray could talk to you about that. We don't have Trez invading the paint or trying to not provide spacing. Like now they got Ibaka in the corner, or they got Batum in the corner, or they got Marcus Morris. They don't have Trez packing out the paint. They don't got Lou Will trying to act like he's the second coming of Jesus Christ when he's on the court. I got the Clippers in 5.
Ray?
This is a definite interesting series for me because the Mavs do play the Clippers tough. You know what I mean? And it's about perception. I feel like the Clippers need to, as much as the athletes say that they don't care about narratives, they need to look impressive in this first round, because the minute they don't look impressive and the questions start to bombard them about the locker room and like the pressures now, this is year 2, you're not getting it done. A guy like Paul George might not perform under those circumstances, especially in LA. This is not OKC, this is not Indiana, this is LA. So I look at the matchups and it's clear. Put it this way. I've been on record as saying that the only team in the West that I'm worried about as a Laker fan are the Clippers. The Clippers have every tool you need. They have the size. They have two dynamic wing players. Now you have the point guard of Rajon Rondo, who we're going to see yet again in the playoffs why he is playoff Rondo. You know what I'm saying? Again, they don't have Montrezl Harrell packing the paint, as Andre said. They have the space they've been wanting all the while. They have every tool you need. I look at Dallas. Dallas finds ways to win games. I watch them in the regular season. I'm like, how do they win these games? How? Like they wanted like the least impressive 5 seeds I've ever seen. Shout out to Luka. But when I watch them play, it's like, how are they winning these games? Where they get these buckets from? Tim Hardaway Jr. had a hell of a season. People don't talk enough about him. But Porzingis, the Knicks, I talked bad about the Knicks when they traded Porzingis. They won that trade. Porzingis has been an absolute joke. Okay? I look at Dallas, they're going to play tough. They're not a soft team. They're not like the early 2000s Dirk Mavs. They're going to play tough. They're going to bump around, but they don't have enough. Luka's going to have to average 40 to get 2 games. The Clippers know what the mission is. I say Clippers in 5.
I have the Clippers in 6 games. I think for again, with what you said about Luka and he's their option. No disrespect to the rest of the team. Yet clearly you have Tim Hardaway Jr. But I got the Clippers in 6 games here in this series. The 2-7 matchup, we got the Flakers. They play the Suns at 3:30 on Sunday. So Ray, let me start with you. Who you have here? How many games?
I got the Lakers in 6 games. The Phoenix Suns are a solid team. They're the 2 seed for a reason. They're a cool story, nevertheless. I'm not. To me, because of what happened in the Western Conference throughout the season with injuries and the like, the standings got a little inverted. I'm stealing someone else said it. I'm still on that bar. But it was apropos because we know what it was had the Lakers not ran into injuries. They were 21-7 when AD went down. Then LeBron goes down after that. So certain teams were able to benefit from the favorites deciding to either take PTO or be hurt. You know, it's conspiracy theorists.
He said PTO.
You know, but if the Lakers had a home court in this series, I would say Lakers in 5 because I really don't think the Suns have any business winning more than 1 game against the Lakers. But because of the scheduling setup and the ebbs and flows of NBA playoff series, I can see a scenario where we're up 3-1 and we blow game 5 because we know we could close them out in game 6. There's also the factor of LeBron James's health. You know, Skip Bayless is saying last night on Twitter that he's told that LeBron is essentially playing on 1 leg. I don't know how true that is. I'll say this. I watched the playing game, and LeBron, I always say LeBron is not as bouncy as he used to be, but he definitely looked like he was Goku training in the room with 100 times gravity at certain points in that Warriors game. He's not getting off the ground. He's not landing comfortably. So that injury is a concern. But it goes back to my point. If LeBron James is a smart man, give AD the ball. To me, the Lakers' most effective offensive possession is AD in the high post, AD in the post, AD on the elbow, AD on the wing, AD for 3. Get AD the ball, and let's see what the Suns have to say about that. The problem is, people not talking about it, and I'll say it here again. If the Suns were a run and gun team, I'd be a little nervous. But because CP3 is so adamant about the half-court offense, it almost plays right into what the Lakers want to do. And if you want to slow this matchup down, you're begging us to smoke you, you know? So Lakers in 6. Shout out to Devin Booker for making it to the playoffs. Shout out for Chris Paul for getting them there. Credit where credit is due. But I don't think they have enough, and we are here now. The play-in game was open today for the Lakers. Put it that way. The whole regular season didn't mean anything. We want right now. Now we're going to cook.
Eddie.
I'm gonna play it as if LeBron is gonna play because of what happened, what came out this morning with the COVID violation.
No, he's gonna play.
He's gonna play.
I'm assuming he's gonna play.
It's rigged.
I'm just gonna assume he's gonna play. I think that defense is crazy. That defense in the second half for the Lakers has been crazy. I think that the Lakers in the beginning, like in the first half, it's almost as if they let the other team do what they want to do. And in the second half, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to shut you down in a drought in the third quarter, and then we're going to start scoring in the fourth quarter. It's almost what it looks like. I think that Anthony Davis is going to be a monster in this series. I think that he's going to be the reason on the scoring end. I think that the defense is going to be great. I got the Lakers in. I'm gonna say 6. Lakers in 6.
Andres, who do you have here? How many games?
Listen, man, as much as I love CP3, as much as he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, the man is 36 years old. There's only so much he could do. If you like Ray said, if you want to slow the game down for the Lakers, they're gonna annihilate them. Like it's not gonna be close at all. So if you're gonna beat the Lakers, you got to push the pace. Another thing that I criticize Frank Vogel a lot. I'm still not fond of him as a coach, but his defense is suffocating. And that's a very good thing. A lot of people don't realize that because they don't watch Laker games or they only watch the games on ESPN. But if you tune into non-televised Laker games, the way Frank Vogel defends and the way he goes about his game plan, in the first half, he's testing the waters just to see what's going on. He's just like Spo, just to see what's going on in the court. In the second half, he's like, we need to force player A to make shots. We need to force player B to get the ball in his hand. The reason why the Lakers are going to win this series is because the Suns don't have a backup five. If you're going to put Anthony Davis on an island with Frank Kaminsky, it's probably going to go really bad, like terrible. The Suns have great players, great rotation players. They got CP3, Booker, Michael Bridges, who's been solid. If you haven't tuned into the Suns game, Michael Bridges has been solid all year round. They got Crowder, and then they got Ayton. And they got a very good coach in Monty Williams, but we all know that LeBron is still chasing the ghost of MJ. We all know that AD is starting to get those bubble product narratives out of the way. But like I said, Frank Kaminsky, the backup C for the Suns, it has to be the X factor in this for Anthony Davis to take over. And hopefully, when the funny thing is about Anthony Davis, I criticize him a lot. I don't think he's a top 10 player. But when Anthony Davis locks in, he's one of the best players on the court. Against the Warriors, if you watch that game, in the first three quarters, he looked like a role player. He wasn't Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? Then in the fourth quarter, he was like, all right, you know what? It's time to lock in, time to play ball. That man was dunking. He was doing whatever he wanted to. He hit that three when they left him wide open. I don't know for what reason, but I got the Lakers in 6. And the sad thing for the Suns fan is the last time the Suns were in the playoffs, Kobe annihilated them in 6 games, and we know what happened.
That was 09, right?
2010 against the Lakers.
Yeah.
The first appearance for the Suns in 10 years is the Lakers once again, but in the first round. The Lakers won the chip in 09, and they won the chip in 2020. So essentially, they played the defending champions both times. Just had to throw that out there.
You guys, whoever said they're being in 6 or being too generous, it pains me to say, but I got the Lakers in 5. And I think it's a matter of they want to be able to rest up. They want to be able to rest up. And if it's true what we're saying about LeBron's health, get it done the earlier games as possible.
That's a good point, Carl.
And just to try to rest up for the next round.
The Lakers are going back to the Western Conference Finals.
So in the last matchup we have, and I think this 3-6 could be a very interesting series. Starts Saturday tonight at 10:30. The Nuggets versus the Blazers.
I gotta talk first.
Okay, I'll let you talk first. Go ahead, sir.
In 2019, the Blazers beat the Nuggets, and they had Nurkic as injured, and they had Cantor as a starting center. They had Evan Turner getting minutes. They had Seth Curry not getting as many minutes. This year, they got Dame, CJ, Norman Powell, who are 3 bucket getters. They got Robert Covington, who is a great defender on both sides of the floor, and they got Nurkic back healthy. Off the bench, you got a lot of great players. They got Anthony Simons. I don't want to mention Melo, but I got to mention Melo. They got Melo off the bench as well. They got Cantor coming off the bench as well, and not starting. The Blazers are going to be a gritty team. A lot of people are saying that the Blazers defense and stuff, but in the last 20 games, the Blazers have the number 1 offense and they have a top 10 defense. They got Dame and CJ, who when they get to their spots, they're unstoppable. If the Nuggets had Jamaal Murray, I would give the Nuggets a chance. But in my humble opinion, after the Heat and Bucks, this is going to be the series to watch for in the first round, just because we know that Terry Stotts is on the hot seat. We know all the narratives that are about Dame, that he's a first-round exit. And we know that maybe Jokic, the MVP of the league, maybe he gets eliminated in the first round as well. I'm going to go Blazers in 7. They're going to go into Denver. They're going to get the job done, and it's going to happen. And then they're going to lose to the Lakers in the second round.
Blazers in 7. Ray, what are your thoughts here with the Series 3-6 matchup?
I like the points that Andres made, but this is not the same Nuggets team that lost to Portland 2 years ago. That was one of the most underrated 7-game series, by the way. Shout out to CJ. To this day, CJ still doesn't get his flowers for closing them out on the road in that Game 7. That was one of my favorite Game 7s in recent memory. But this Denver team is different, and I look at the talent across the board. I don't think this is the matchup where Mr. Jamaal Murray gets highlighted. Jokic could do his thing. You have Gordon in there. Is Will Barton healthy? Is he back? Ooh, that kind of changes things.
Yeah, they're gonna have to depend on MPJ.
MPJ, yeah, and that's now. I thought Will Barton was back, so now I'm a little nervous. But with that being said, I still look at Denver having the necessary length, and they're not soft. If they were a team that was soft mentally and emotionally, then I'd be like, I don't know. But I'm going to go the other way and say Denver in 7 because even without Murray, I look at both rosters, the talent is comparable. The coaching is comparable. This is going to be the most entertaining series of the first round. They're going to get up and down. You're going to have clutch buckets. You're going to have X's and O's and adjustments. I'm looking at you against CJ. I don't even think this is a Dame series. It's going to come down to CJ. Whoever the best second option is in this series is going to dictate the terms. If CJ somehow channels 2019 CJ again, I'm going to be wrong. But I'm looking at Denver, and I'm looking at the young, athletic, the 6'8", 6'9" guys who get up and down the floor. They can get buckets. Jokic running the offense from the elbow. I like Denver in 7, but this is another pick'em series, but the most entertaining pick'em of the first round.
All right, so you said Denver, right? In 7? Denver in 7. Okay. Greg, I hope you stay in the comments because I want to address what you're talking about. Is AD a top 10 player real quick before we sign off? Because I know you're disagreeing with Andres, but I actually just listed 10 players and you could or could not make the case. Eddie, who you have here in this series?
I got Denver in 6. I think this is going to be a really, really tough series. I just think that Jokic I don't think they have anybody in this series to really guard Jokic. I think Jokic is going to be able to do whatever he wants. I think he's going to be able to facilitate as he wants. Portland doesn't really have good defense. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to have a really good series. I know last year a big person for Denver was Grant. I think Michael Porter is going to fill that void this year. I think he got better since last year. I think he's healthier. I got Denver in 6.
I think
right.
Wait. Let me.
And
Aaron Gordon are going to make this series very interesting.
Let me add to like Ray said, to add to Eddie's point, like Ray said, it all comes down to the second option in this series. So Jokic can average 50, but who's going to show up with him? Is MPJ is another player, bro. That trigger finger, he gets way too happy. Like he's a streaky shooter. So maybe one day he can pop off for 18 points on 6 of 7 from 3, and then another game he pops off for 2 of 12 from 3.
Keep you out of the game.
Yep.
This series will definitely be interesting.
What do you got, Carl? Talk to me.
I got Portland in 7. I'm going Portland 7.
I respect it.
But real quickly, in the comment section, Greg did not like the comment that Andres made about AD being a top 10 player. I actually just made a list quickly, and just if you want to take a look, again, it's debatable. Knowing basketball, if you're going to go down top 10 players that you could possibly put above AD, you got Kyrie, KD, LeBron, Steph, Jokic, Embiid, Harden, Dame, Beal, and Westbrook.
Beal, Westbrook, what?
Well, over AD, or am I missing someone else on the list?
There's no way an AFC has 2 top 10 players, bro. Respectfully.
There's no way what? Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what Ray said.
Okay, so then who else would you put in that place?
All right, so this is my list.
I was
Ready?
going off the dome.
Okay, ready? LeBron, Steph, Harden, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, Giannis, Jokic, Dame, Embiid, Paul George, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul. Chris Paul's hard to rank because he's 36, but I still think he's better than Anthony Davis because of what he brings to the table. Am I missing anyone else?
Those were the 2 that I was missing off my list. Were Giannis and Kawhi. You could swap out. Those are the 2 I had.
Swap them out for Beal and Russ.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Because again, I was just listening. I completely forgot about Giannis and Kawhi. That's my bad on my part. But it's debatable. Say it again.
You didn't list Jimmy Butler.
I did list Jimmy. Jimmy's better than AD too.
Well, John, let me ask you, as the resident Laker fan, would you agree with Andres in that? Just real quick before we sign off, about AD being a top 10 player in the league.
Not to sound like a politician, but generally speaking, AD is a top 10 NBA player. But for the 2020-2021 season, AD has not performed as a top 10 player. Even before he went down with injury, he came into the season, he was overweight. He was standing in the corner way too much for a person of his talent. He was kind of lazy on defense. He even put it this way, a microcosm of AD was the playing game. For 3 quarters, he was a role player, to Andres' point, getting out the way, doing little things here and there. Then in the 4th quarter, he was a top 10, arguably top 5 NBA player that we know him to be, dominating both sides of the floor, dominating the defense, getting in the way of Steph on the pick and roll defenses, crashing the boards, getting dunks, shooting the ball like one of the better bigs in the game. But for this season in totality, if I'm being objective, he hasn't performed as a top 10 player, so I can't give him that.
Oh, Luca, another player, Carl.
Yeah, Luca. Well, okay, you know what? So I think I just gave Greg Polius an alley hoop to his Smoke and Mirrors podcast. If he'd like to address this situation, I think it makes for an interesting conversation. So, Greg, there's your alley. You could have Andres. You guys could talk it out. If not, I'd love to entertain a little bit more on the Wednesday live. Gentlemen, thank you for picking these games with me here. We'll definitely do one again for the second round. You guys enjoy the game. Enjoy
Wait,
the beautiful
Carl,
weather.
before we go, I need a bold prediction from you for the first round.
Bold prediction from the first round or the
bold prediction from the first round.
Oh my!
I know this is your show, but I got to put you on the spotlight.
Listen, I already made a bold prediction by picking my team to beat the Nets, so it doesn't get any more bolder than that.
Objective, man. Come on.
that. I mean, there's really no. I have a bold prediction for the entire playoffs, but not the first round.
Don't reveal it. Don't reveal it, though.
Okay. Oh yeah, but there's really no bold prediction here. I mean, the first rounds are pretty much they're all what they are. Yeah, they are what they are. So,
all right.
You guys, thank you for joining me here, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Enjoy the weather.
Thank you for having me, bro.
You guys take care. All right. Thank you to our contributors here for joining us on the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. Thank you for everyone who watched the show today and watched our preview. If you did not watch it live and you want to tell somebody you want to share it, I will make it available via YouTube so you can watch our predictions. We will do one for the second round. Thank you to everyone for continually watching the Sports Hit List brand and supporting our content. I truly appreciate it. Please make sure you join the group. That's where the daily conversations and the shenanigans take place. If you want to have some good sports banter, make sure you like our page. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. We are on YouTube. We just released a What If series with the pro wrestling. So we got more episodes coming out with that. And also you can check out please make sure you download the Worldwide Sports Radio Network app. You can basically subscribe there. You can log on to their website and get nothing but content and other shows. For the lineup, again, you get Sports Hit List content 5 days a week. So on Mondays, you have Smoke and Mirrors at 1 o'clock with Steph and Greg and Declan. Tuesdays, you have the Falco Takeaway. Wednesdays, our regular live show. Thursdays, the B Show. Fridays, back to Smoke and Mirrors again at 1 o'clock. So subscribe, like, share, comment, subscribe to all of the content that you can get. Enjoy the beautiful weather. I'm about to go enjoy it myself. I'm going to try to watch some of the games at some bars, have a good time. And yeah, you guys enjoyed NBA playoff basketball. Good luck to all the teams. Good luck to all the players, except for the Nets. The Net fans, Pete, Manny, Eddie, my cousin Al, all you guys. I don't care about the Nets this week. Don't talk to me. Don't call me after the game. Don't text me. I don't want to. Don't even acknowledge me. Don't even look my way until after the series is over. That's all I'm saying. You guys enjoy it. Carl Coulange for the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans. Take care.
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.